I spent a lot of the last year studying math, computer science, and all sorts of academic things. And while this is really interesting and things that I think will be useful throughout my career, I think it was a mistake. It was not the best use of my time. In this video, I'm going to go over what I learned, what I studied, and most importantly, what I would do next time if I could start over. So it was November 2023, a little over a year ago, when I decided I was bored with web development. I wanted to do something different. And I thought, AI sounds great. And so I picked up a couple books. This one, Deep Learning. So it turns out it is a graduate level math textbook, and I did not have the preparation for that. This one is pretty great. It required a little more math than I had, but that was reasonable. And also required pandas, NumPy, a bunch of Python stuff. So I bounced off of that a little bit, and both these together set off my journey of learning. This journey lasted a little over a year, and I made a lot of mistakes, which you can now learn from. So let's go over what I learned. So first, I learned a bunch of math. And that's because I was so shocked when I read these books that I was like, wow, there's something that I can't just jump into. And so I started first, I did these lecture series. So linear algebra, this is actually a great lecture series. And this on discrete math is pretty great. This book is good, but it doesn't take you quite as far as you need to go. However, the thing with just doing courses and lectures is that you think you know a lot more than you actually do. You get an idea of it. And the most extreme case of this, 3 blue, 1 brown, amazing for getting intuition. You will not be able to solve a single problem after watching one of these videos, which is okay. He understands that. And if your goal is math entertainment or to get a basic understanding of the concepts, there's no better place. But if your goal is to actually be able to do the math and to understand what you're doing, then you have to do it. You can't just watch it or even just read about it. And so the best thing I found for that is Math Academy. And so they have a mathematics for machine learning course. So it will do a quiz and it'll tell you where you were. I was like 80% of the way through Foundations 2 when I started. And then you just do a bunch of questions, you level up your skills. And the great thing about this is once you're done, you will understand it. The bad thing is it takes a lot of time. It was about 4 months from when I started this to when I finished. And it was my primary side project during that time. So as far as math in general, what I like is that for any place I go in science and engineering, knowing these things will be useful. However, one of the least useful places for math is software engineering, which is what we do. And so, 99% of the time when you're working with AI, you're not going to be building the model. You're not going to be using this math. So, yeah, but I'm still not sad I did it. It's just not the best use of my time. Next up, computer science. So as a web developer, I was able to skip a lot of this when I was just starting out. And I did do a computer science minor, but I only covered a small portion of this, and it has been over a decade. So a lot of this was as if it was new. So there are a couple clusters here. So this cluster is all about low level and hardware. And I did this because I thought it would be really useful if I decided to start doing CUDA programming, which, silly reason, ever since I heard the phrase CUDA mode, I was like, yeah, that sounds fun. I want to go CUDA mode. But I've not yet gone CUDA mode because this is not the best way to do it. I should have actually just started programming C++ if I had been serious about it and actually just started programming a CUDA kernel. But that's not what I did. And this is nice, useful background knowledge. I recommend all of these sources if you want to learn it, but you should actually do exercises and projects. And Then another cluster, so I guess a little background, this database internals should probably be down here in computer science, but oh well. And I also started another CMU course where all about database internals. It was called Introduction to Databases, which really means introduction to building your own database. And the introductory exercise was to build a tree, or trie, T-R-I-E, in C++. So I was like, well, I guess I'm learning algorithms now. And so that's why I did these. This is the Leetcode roadmap, which is a much better way to get started with Leetcode and algorithms than really any other source I found. Because what it does is it starts out with the easy ones, you learn the tricks, then you go to harder ones, you learn more tricks that build on the previous tricks, and you just keep going. And when you do it that way, it's like a puzzle game, and it's fun instead of, well, I see why it gets a bad rap, because if you just jump on leetcode.com and start trying to solve them, you're going to have a bad time, and it seems arbitrary. But if you do it this way, it's fun. It's a puzzle game. And, you know, if I had a lot of time, I would just keep doing them. Like, it's more fun than web development. But no one pays you directly to do Leetcode. I'm only going to do this if I start looking for a job again. Which is not right now. If you're my boss, don't worry. We're fine. And then there's random other stuff that I thought kind of fit in computer science, like this computer networking class. Good stuff. Once again, probably can't remember it because I didn't do any exercises. All right, so next is data engineering. And this I actually did use in my day job because a lot of it was learned for my day job. And so that's great. The stuff I learned directly for the day job actually isn't on here. It was like stuff like DBT, stuff like Datadog, lots of tooling to understand the flow of data and, you know, how to see when it goes wrong, because it's not like front end or, you know, directly in a database where you can just see the error. Got to have some tooling there. And yeah, not a whole lot to say here except for this book, Designing Data-Intensive Applications. It is as good as everyone says it is. And, you know, it's a high-level overview, but if you've never thought about... Well, this is actually my second time reading it. The first time I read it, it blew my mind. Second time reading it, I'm like, yeah, this is just as good as I remember. And I understand a lot more because I've seen more data-intensive applications since then. Then finally, there's the thing that started it all, which is looking into machine learning and AI. And so this book is good. It's a great overview of a lot of the different algorithms there and how to use them. It's split into two parts. There's like the scikit-learn, which is the machine learning. Then there's the Keras and TensorFlow, which is the deep learning. And the big downside to this one is that Keras and TensorFlow is sort of falling out of favor. PyTorch is the new big thing, so you'll be learning, you know, it's like learning front-end systems by learning Angular or Ember or Backbone or something. I don't know, maybe it's not that bad, but the core concepts are still the same, even if I'm going to have to learn some other tooling to actually, you know, get into the mainstream. And this course, as great as everyone says it is, you know, I've done surprisingly little in MLAI, considering that this actually is what started the thing. And so, yeah, with that said, let's go ahead and get to what I did wrong and what I would do next time if I could do it over. Okay, I guess I'll say some positive things first. So some people, if you're a full-time student, you may look at this and be like, that's nothing, that's child play. Remember, I had a full-time job and a new baby, which is great, but also takes a lot of time. So anyways, back to the things I did wrong. So you'll see here, it's a lot of things that I learned, that I consumed, but not a lot of things that I produced or that I did. There are no real accomplishments here. And yeah, that's a big problem because if you don't actually do something, you won't remember it. And just like with the math, you could be tricked into thinking that you understand it by the lecturer being really good. But you don't actually have all the scaffolding to remember that and apply it on your own. The things where I did actually do something, it was more like small exercises, such as in the algorithms LeetCode work and in the mathematics work. And those two are the ones where you do really need to build from the bottom up. Start with the easy problems, go to the medium problems, go to the hard problems. For other things in programming, most other things, you want to start from the top down. You figure out what you want to do, and then you work backwards and you learn what you need in order to implement that. And that keeps you focused. That makes it so that you're not all scattered around like this. Because notice, this is so scattered. Like over here, we've got some stuff that's useful if I was doing CUDA coding. Here we've got stuff that's useful if I was doing research on new transformer architectures. Here we've got stuff that's useful for if I'm building a pipeline to feed the data into models. And so that's like three whole different career tracks that require different things. And yeah, of course, I'm not going to get super far on any one of them because I'm doing all of them. And none of them actually connect to what I do day to day very much, except for the data engineering. That connects a little. So if I was doing it all over, what I would do to focus myself is I'd say, okay, what's a project that I can do in a month where I can learn everything I need in a month? And I need it to stretch me, do things that I don't know how to do yet, but not so much that I get stuck in these rabbit holes. And there are things where you do need to get stuck in the rabbit holes, like math. I don't know how you do a math project or an algorithms project. But for everything else, you can take the knowledge that you have and expand just a little bit. And then you've solidified that knowledge by using it. And then you can expand from there and do something harder and build up that ability. So that's what I'm doing for the next year. Maybe I'll do some courses as well, but it's going to be super project focused. And my plan is to share some of that with you on here. And so I've already got my first project going. Hope to have a video out fairly soon, maybe a week or two, just showing what I've learned from that and what I've built. And so if there's particular stuff you want to see, or if there's anything that I did over this last year that you're like, oh my goodness, we need content around that, well, I'll consider it. Probably not, though. Anyways, I'll see you soon.